Yeah, that's annoying.
Thank you, everyone, for coming to the Bronson for a monthly board meeting. My name is Julie Reyes, chairperson of Community Board 8, and we have our vice chairperson, Sergio Belaverde, our secretary is Margaret Della, our treasurer, Joy Campbell Privateer, will be absent this evening. We have our district manager, Robert Rubin, and our community coordinator, Artie Mazu. And we have Jalen, our community associate. And we will start the meeting. For the board members on Zoom who have ADA excusals, that would be Sylvia Alexander, Marty Wolkoff, Barbara Thompson. Oh, sorry. And Jill Towns. Thank you. I'd like to thank Carson for hosting this evening's meeting. Any board member marked absent who does not have ADA approval may attend via Zoom or call in. They can participate in discussions, but they may not be able to vote. We'll start off with our public gallery session. We have Rebecca Brown from the Riverdale Library.
Hello, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Rebecca Brown Barbier. I am the library manager of the Riverdale Library. It's just been a long time since I've spoken in front of the full board. Normally I speak during the Education Libraries Committee meeting and then also District Service Cabinet. But I just want to share some positive library news with you and some of our recent programs. I know that we're famous. Oh, by the way, my library is the Riverdale Library, which is off of 256th Street and Mosholu Avenue. So right across from the neighborhood house, if you don't know where we're located. We're the library that has the pretty garden and the patio when it's not covered with snow and ice. So we're known for our children's programs. We have 8 early childhood programs per week, including Saturday community play date and story time. We also have 14 programs now per week, including preteen homework help, teen literary advisory, which is a reading program. But more so, we've added a lot of adult programs. So my branch, we have 4 regular adult programs per week. We have 2 2 writing programs, one on Tuesday at noon and one on Thursday at noon. We have a Stitchery Circle, which meets on Monday at 2 o'clock. And then Studio Art, which meets Wednesday at 4 o'clock. And all are welcome. There's no pre-registration for these particular programs. Among my special programs, we have 3 book discussion or literary discussion programs per month. This month, we're focusing on, it's Black History Month, so we have a short story discussion that's coming up. It's twice. We have one that's virtual, so people who cannot make it to the branch can join from home. That's going to be on the 27th at 12 noon. And then I'm looking at the date right now, I'm scrolling. we're also doing the full book, Let Us Descend by Jasmine Ward on February 22nd. That's Saturday at 12 noon. And we're doing the short story again on February 13th. That's this Friday. But what's nice about the short story book discussion is that it only requires about maybe 15 minutes worth of reading. This month we're reading The Comet by W.E. Du Bois. I bet you didn't know that he wrote sci-fi. So this is his sci-fi story. And if you want to pick up a copy, we'll have coffee and just a good time. It's a nice little group. So if you're interested, come. And we're also going to have a few author talks and, of course, our community plant exchange. So I would like to see more adults come to the library. And if there's anything that you want to see happen at my library, I have open ears and I'm more than happy to address your issues and concerns. Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. Thank you.
Welcome.
Does
Thank you
anyone-
for letting me speak.
Let me see if anyone has any questions. Any board members have any questions? Okay, thank you. For the public, during the board meeting, we take questions only from the board members. The public, they're invited to sign up if they wish to speak on a particular subject. And welcome to any committee meeting, attend any committee meeting where you'll have more of a chance to participate in the committees. Okay, we only have one speaker sign up. Is there anyone from the public who would like to speak on a particular subject? No? Okay, so then we'll move on to our next agenda item. We have a report from the Brownsboro President's Office.
Hi, good evening, everyone. This is Alexis, Deputy Director of Community Boards at the Borough President's Office. Um, my report is fairly short. Just have great news. The 2026 Community Board application is now open. I know that you're probably all aware, because Farah and her team are very good at getting this information out. Our 12 community boards in the Bronx give those with a vested interest in their community the opportunity to help shape neighborhood priorities and local decision making. So if you're ready to be part of the change, for anyone who's sitting in the room that is not already a board member, I hope to see your application. And if you know anyone that is interested, please have them apply or reach out to me to get some more information. Thank you so much for the time. I'll be here for the remainder of the meeting.
Thank you, Alexis. The next item, report from the 50th Precinct.
Hi, how's everyone doing? Captain Atrova from the 50th Precinct. For the month, I'm happy to report we had a decrease in crime. Total major crimes went down to 89 from 101 last year, same period. That's we went down by 11.9%. Unfortunately, for the period, we did have, as you guys may have heard, we did have two homicides in the confines of our precinct. One was a murder-suicide that happened indoors, and the other one occurred on 242 and Broadway. And that one was a person drove down from upstate New York and shot two people, one fatally, who were also from upstate New York and have no ties to the Bronx or Riverdale. They would just happen to be in the confines of the 50 precinct at a night establishment. One of those persons is in custody. The other one, we're actively looking for him. There is no other threat to the public. We're confident that he's going to be in custody soon. Okay. As far as rapes went down from 3 to 1, robberies up by 1 from 9 to 10, but 2 of those are domestic robberies and with arrest made already. Felony assaults went down from 19 to 15. Burglaries went down from 14 to 7. Grand larcenies went down from 37 to 32. And auto theft went up by 3 from 19 to 22. Overall, like I said, down 89 from 101. So that's my report for the period.
Thank you, Captain. Are there any questions? Captain, you have 2 questions. We have Daniel and Bob Bender. Daniel?
So, super second, surely, I don't know, can you disclose more information as to, like, you said they were in in like one of the venues in the area that, and then afterwards, when they left, that's when all that happened? Or you're saying that they came from upstate and then they just so happened to be there?
I'm not, it's coming in a little bit low, the voice. So I only partially understood your question. So can you just try to speak a little bit louder, or maybe someone can?
Hold on, we're gonna give you the other mic.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, much better.
My question was, are you able to disclose any other information onto the shooting in 242nd? Because did you say that they were at a venue and then it happened after they had left the venue in the area, or did they just come from upstate and then they just ended up here? I just want to make sure.
Right, they came from upstate, and they were in a venue here. And when the night was over, they were walking back to their cars, and that's when they were shot.
Got it. Okay.
Hi, Captain. I wanted to ask you about some incidents that took place at the Seatown Supermarket on Marshallou Avenue, where I understand there's been some kids who have come in the afternoon. There's been some vandalism and some theft, and I understand one of the store employees was assaulted. I heard that there was an arrest made in that case. Is that the case?
Yes, we made multiple arrests of juveniles. And so, yeah, I believe we made 4 arrests. They were arrested and obviously released. We couldn't keep them, but we prepared juvenile reports, and they were charged with assault in 3rd degree.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions? Okay, so we'll go to the next slide. Thank you, Captain. There are no more questions.
Thank you. Good to see everyone.
Okay. The next item, roll call. Secretary Margaret Della will take roll call.
Sylvia Alexander.
You're on down.
Can see it.
Yeah, let's stay here.
Sylvia Alexander.
All board members on Zoom, please unmute yourself.
Debbie Young.
Present.
Constance Watson.
Here.
Bob Bender.
Here.
Carol Blake.
Here.
Joey Campbell Privitar. Sebastian Chalabi. Lee Chong.
Present.
Dr. Wayne DeVito. Ingrid De Leon. Margaret Dell, President Althea Eagle.
Present.
Nicholas Fazio. Miriam Tyler. Stephen Fruit. Dr. Julia Gomez. Edward Green.
Present.
Emily Houseman.
Here.
Deborah Harris.
Here.
Rashida Hilliard.
Here.
Barbara Kale.
Here.
Rabbi Kaplan. Laura Lee Pineda. Nicole Lewis. Steve Matthews.
Here.
Charles Merdler. Daniel Nunez.
Here.
Angel Ortega.
Present.
Richard Perez.
Here.
Julie Reyes.
Here.
Brittany Reynoso. Daniel Rowan. Georgia Santiago. Jessica Sosa.
Here.
Cesar, Laura Spalter. Cesar Guevara Acosta.
Present.
Jill Towns. Deborah Travis.
Present.
Sergio Villaverde.
Present.
Karen Walker. Martin Wolhoff. Sylvia Alexander.
Here.
Julia Gomez.
Here.
We have quorum.
Thank you, Margaret.
We see you then. Thank you.
I'm present, Karen Walker.
Okay. Karen was given ADA for this evening. Okay, so we have quorum, so we'll go on to item number 6, approval of the regular board meeting minutes of January 13th, 2026. Are there any comments or discussions on the minutes? Okay, so then, you have comment? Yeah. Oh, the correction. Marty wanted a correction for the LRE.
Yes, on behalf of Martin Walpoff, who's indisposed this evening, he did have a request for a correction. In the law, rules, and ethics, there was a discussion about possible bylaws change to commit committee membership on LRE and land use, and we would work on language throughout the month. What should be highlighted is that the possible bylaws change to permit committee members for any term limited board member who served on a committee for 5 years to become a committee member for 1 year plus term from April. Following June without the 3-month attendance requirement is what he's requesting that his comments be adjusted to. And that's it. But there will be, as a member of LRE, and I'll be reporting, there is a plan to have a substantive proposal out so everyone can see it, and it's our plan to have it out well in advance anyway. But on the minutes, that's the correction that Marty's asking for.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay, so any abstentions, disapprovals on accepting?
Motion.
Is there a motion to accept the minutes? Okay, Julia seconds. Any abstentions? Disapprovals? So approved. Okay, so discussion on the executive minutes for February 4th, 2026. Any discussions? No discussion, so we'll move on to item number 8, Chairperson's Report. First, I'd like to thank Sergio for hosting a few meetings on my behalf. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. My report is very brief. I'd just like to thank the staff for putting together a wonderful newsletter for the community. If anyone hasn't received the newsletter, please let us know because it has a wealth of information on the district. I'd just also like to report that board member Adriana Rivera has resigned from the board, and we wish her well. My last report is a resolution for the Irving Latimer Community Service Award. Very simple. Okay, are there any board members who have not read the Irving Latimer resolution? Okay, so the Irving Latimer Community Service Award is given to individuals or organizations who have acted on a volunteer basis to improve and enhance the district in some way, the quality of life of those living or working in the Community Board 8 area. Irving Latimer was a past board member on the community board, and it was the Community Service Award was changed to honor him quite a few years ago. In 1992, Bronx Community Board passed a resolution authorizing the chairperson of the community board to annually appoint an ad hoc committee of no less than 3 members and no more than 5 members. I'd like to thank Carol Blake, Emily Houseman, and Daniel Nunez for agreeing to being members in this committee. Applications have already been sent out and notices starting on February 1st to March 1st. The applications will be sent out. So if you know anyone who's volunteered in the community, please feel free to submit an application. You can go onto our website, contact the board. And if you have any social media sites, please like our page, any social media sites, and spread the word because we really would like to get as many nominations as possible. So the resolution in part states that I, Julie Reyes, chairperson of Bronx Community Board 8, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the bylaws of Bronx Community Board 8 and the board resolution of December 14th, 1992, do hereby appoint board members Carol Blake, Emily Houseman, and Daniel Nunes to serve on the ad hoc committee, select their own committee chairperson, and conduct the above actions listed in the resolution. And the committee will dissolve once the Irving Latimer Community Service Award presentation takes place. And the award presentation will take place at our April board meeting. Is there any questions, comments? Okay, so then any objections? You need a nomination. Does anybody want to make a motion rather?
So moved.
Thank you. Good, thank you. Okay, so any abstentions, disapprovals, approved. And Daniel and Emily and Carol, if you could just raise your hand so people can see who you are, since we have some new board members here, and Emily's up here. So Emily's here, Carol and Daniel, and thank you. Okay, that's the end of my report. We'll move on to the treasurer's report.
Our report is very simple this month. We have not spent really any money between this month and last month. We have a total of $160,702 in our budget. $118,167 is for personnel, and then our office budget for $42,535. Next month, I will be spending, we'll start spending the money. We have some printing costs. It depends on who's going to give us some resource guides this year, how much we're going to print. Other people want to print for the community, like the award flyers, things like that. So we will have printing costs. Also, the office is in need of supplies, so I will be purchasing a lot of that next month. And that's it. There were no budget mods. And if you have any questions, just let me know. Okay. So I'll continue with the district manager's report. Happy Black History Month, everyone. Good evening. Just want to mention our new community associate, Jalen Ordono, is busy. She's been doing trainings for her public auction, for our website, WordPress, and for our financial FMS trainings. As Julie mentioned, our winter newsletter has been released. We sent it out. We also have a hard copy outside if anyone would like to see it. Please review the many great things that this board does for the community and see all the featured events in our district. Award season has begun at Bronx Community Board 8. We sent the press releases for the Irving Latimer Community Service Awards, the Youth Yankee Awards. We will be sending the Most Valuable Merchant Award releasing on February 13th, and the Comeback Kid Award is to follow shortly thereafter. I hope, as Julie also mentioned, please share that to your networks and friends or anyone you think is worthy or someone who can make a nomination. I held my district service cabinet meeting on February 3rd, and my next one will be on March 3rd. I attended an agency privacy officer summit event. I took Artie with me in my role as the agency privacy officer for Bronx Community Board 8. Constance, the chair of economic development, and I were interviewed on News 12 on February 3rd regarding the empty storefronts on Knowles Crescent. They also made a lot of announcements for us that day. The Yankee Awards and the economic development meetings were also announced on News 12. So that was a good day for us. Constance and I also did a review with XYZ Live to show us how to use their retail maps in our district. It shows all the vacant and occupied status of all the stores in our district. Last night, I attended the River Spring Living and the Riverdale Construction Advisory Committee meeting along with local community residents. We discussed the upcoming construction plan for the work starting this month on their site. The CB8 office will be closed Monday, February 16th in honor of President's Day. And I want to thank Marsh and Gordon for helping us tonight, facilitating the meeting tonight. Thank you to Horace Mann. It's a beautiful auditorium, and we thank you again. Have a great evening.
Thank you, Farah. Any questions or comments for Farah? Okay, great. We'll move on to committee reports. The first three committees reporting will be Parks and Recreation, Law, Rules and Ethics, and Land Use. Sure. No, we're not doing that. We're going, okay, Zeb, can you give Zeb a microphone, please?
I'll give my committee. I was just saying. So we've been doing a new in the last few meetings. You've been having the committees that have resolutions go first. I do not have a resolution, but I will cede the floor to the committees that do have resolutions if you do want them to go first.
No, we used to do the resolutions first when we were going after the elected officials. And I switched it in September, starting this term. I switched it so that the committees report first and then the elected officials report after us. Because we always used to rush the committees to give their reports. So that's why we used to do the resolutions. But since September, I've been doing committee reports first and then elected officials report after us.
So regardless of whether the committee has a resolution.
Exactly, because now we have time, because the elected officials can't eat up all your time.
All right, then. So I'll get.
So we're doing it in order. If you have no report to say, at least just let the public know when your next meeting is.
So good evening, everybody. Now that we've clarified who's going first, it is me. I'm Deb Travis. I'm the chair of the Parks Committee. And our last Parks meeting was January 28th. And our next Parks Committee meeting is February 26th. Where we will be discussing budget priorities, and we'll probably be kind of digging into the Parks Resource Guide. We'd like to do some updates to it. So I think the committee will work on that at the meeting. We did have a really good meeting back in January, though, so I do recommend you review the minutes if you're interested in kind of updates on all of the outstanding capital projects. The Parks Borough Commissioner's Capital Division was in the House, and she gave us just a wealth of information about where everything stands, from the Ewan Park staircase to the basketball courts and Fort Forum. They did they brought a really good presentation on ADA capabilities in our playgrounds and dog runs and pools. And so, because we had specifically asked, like, what are these features? What do they look like? How would we recognize them? How do we request them? And so they brought a presentation so you can actually see what is available. And they actually recommended that when there are public discussion, public input sessions for any park, that if the community comes forward and specifically says, we know that there are, we would like to have specific features for autistic children or for children with mobility issues, etc., that they will try to accommodate these types of requests if the parks, if that park's space allows for it. So it was really, really beneficial, and I send you to my minutes and also to check out the YouTube. Let's see. Oh, and then the other thing just to kind of raise is that we asked about the state of the stadium. There was a stadium study that was done last spring, to get community input on the whole, what the Parks Department considers the stadium is actually all the way from Broadway almost to the Major Deegan. It's that whole kind of southern end of the park. They currently consider the stadium to be in a state of permanent kind of disrepair and not effective. They don't intend to repair it. They intend to tear the stadium down, which raises a lot of concerns about historic preservation. That stadium has a story to tell for sure. So we've asked them to come to an upcoming meeting, hopefully in March, to speak to what the actual results were from the community stadium study, and to learn more about the costs of the stadium and why they're so intent on tearing it down. Oh, and the Bronx Park Speak Up is coming up on February 28th. It is an event at Lehman College. It's all day. Everybody who has any connection to parks in the Bronx is going to be there. And so I really, if you love the parks in the Bronx, or if you'd love to learn more about any park stewards groups or any really nature-oriented groups in the Bronx, I would totally recommend you come. It's a fun day. That's it.
Thank you, Deb. Any questions? Angel? Deb, Angel.
You mentioned on the Seton Park dog run?
Oh, the Seton Park Dog Run. Yes. So nobody, I had hoped that somebody would come to kind of present on the condition there. Nobody was able to come. However, Joe Magnieri, who's the district manager, was there. He did talk a bit about the condition of it. We did have one person or actually two people speak to kind of the conditions of it there. And I've been in touch with them after the meeting, and I think we've started to get a little bit of a group going. We still need a dog run group though, so if you know people who are interested, please direct them to the office, and we will continue to try to connect everybody who has interest in that park, so that they can form a dog run group.
So you mentioned there's going to be some movement there, at least some repairs or something, because it's in really bad shape.
So the dog run was not actually ever built as a formal dog run. It is an informal kind of dog area that has that's kind of taken shape independently over time. The Parks Department did commit though to they've been providing mulch. They're going to provide wood chips instead, which are hardier and will help with the drainage. And they said they would take a look at the latches to try to make the fences a little bit more secure. But it really does need a capital project. And so in order to have a capital project, it really needs a dog run group to advocate for it and to assist with future kind of ongoing.
So maybe an angel part of that group. They're gonna. So how many people do you need for that committee?
It's not a committee. It's really just, we need a core group of folks who will work with Partnership for Parks, who will collaborate and coordinate with the Parks Department so that they feel like, okay, we've got folks who will put down wood chips in the future. We've got folks we can talk to if there's an issue with dog poop or whatever. And so it's really just having some core folks there. So we've got Rob Czapkowski and Angel and Joel Zive and a couple of other folks who've reached out since. There was a woman, Vivian, who was on the call. So I'm just trying to connect everybody. And I just heard back from Partnership for Parks, and they're interested in working with them.
And the Parks Department is going to have some involvement with this?
That's so Partnership for, yeah, so Partnership.
Taking care of it, continuing taking care of it.
So the part,
involvement here?
for dog runs, they really rely on volunteer groups to care for dog runs. The Parks Department doesn't have the resources to care for dog runs. It's not a great situation, I would say. I mean, but you would expect that the Parks Department would care for something like that, but they uniformly do not, and they uniformly have been very clear that they don't want to invest in any dog run that doesn't have a active dog run group that they know they can count on to put mulch down and to kind of adjudicate if there's disagreements between dog owners and all that kind of stuff.
I took a ride in that, and so that's not the case. The city does have renovated dog runs along the west side.
Yeah.
I can get you that information.
Well, we can talk about it later.
This is going to be discussed in a committee in the future.
Oh yeah, this is going to be discussed for a while.
So let's bring this to committee then, and then thank you, Deb.
Thank you.
Deb, you got your hands full. Thanks for the work you do. Okay, the next two committees are Law, Rules, and Ethics. Sergio Villarreal will report.
Thank you. A large part of what's being worked on are the bylaw changes that we discussed earlier, and we're discussed at exec. So many of you heard them trying to figure out a way to open up the committee structure so that people who've been on the board can stay on committees without necessarily meeting the current criteria. But that's an open discussion, and there's a lot of debate back and forth. I welcome you all to LRE and to submit opinions on what it is. We also have, I'll give the report. We have our working group that's reporting to LRE on the board structure and committee structure. You should have all received some emails, some outreach. Please reply if you choose to. It's not mandatory, but it's very helpful. And we plan to have some way, shape, or form. We will have a report by next month of some of the salient suggestions and what we believe as a group speaking to people should happen. Thank you. Next meeting is March 9th, 7:30 p.m. at the board office, and we'll see you there.
Thank you, Sergio. Questions? Okay, we'll move on to land use. Is Chuck here? And Steve is in here.
Bob? We do have a resolution, so
Okay,
that is.
all right.
Thank you,
Well,
Bob.
as I was saying, there is a resolution. For those, well, I hope everybody's read it, but essentially it has to do with Fieldston, which is a historic neighborhood and a landmark neighborhood. And one of the homeowners in Fieldston wants to do some renovation, and because it is landmarked, there are a lot of regulations about how this renovation of the windows can take place. But to get to the point, the Fieldston Property Owners Association has no objection to what the homeowner wants to do. And the homeowner came with a very thorough presentation to show how the renovation will satisfy the landmarking regulations. It was an elaborate presentation. At the end, the committee unanimously voted in favor of what the homeowner wants to do. Are there any questions? All right. Does anyone object? Is anyone abstaining? All right, resolution passes.
Thank you, Bob.
Okay.
The next land use meeting is on March 2nd. We'll move on to housing. Rashida Hilliard.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Rashida Hilliard. So our last meeting was actually Monday, December 22nd. We had a guest speaker from HPD speak about the fair eviction clause. Well, it's a law actually that was passed in 2024, the fair cause eviction, which prevents landlords from evicting people in their fair apartments that are at market rate. It prevents landlords from kicking people out of their or evicting people from their apartments without a good reason. So that was our last guest speaker. We canceled our meeting on January 26th. I'm sure you all know about the storm. I don't need to talk about that. So our next meeting is scheduled to take place on Monday, February 23rd. And at the very least, we will be discussing the budget. We are hoping for a guest speaker from NYCHA to speak. Because we're doing budget priorities and a lot of the budget is around NYCHA and things of that nature, you know, whatever renovations or things that need to take place, we would like to at least have someone speak so that we're not just like, it's not like a top down, like from us top down. We would rather have someone who knows more about what they need to come speak. And if they don't speak, we will make the decisions on their behalf to the best of our abilities. So with that said, I am done.
Thank you. Questions, comments? Okay, we'll move on to health, hospitals, and social services. Vice Chair Steve Matthews. And congratulations, Steve.
Thank you. I didn't quite expect to have to exercise the powers of the position this quickly, but Dr. DeBeetham has a conflict this evening and called me shortly before I was leaving to attend this meeting. We met on January 14th, and much of the discussion of that meeting revolved around a presentation by Senator Rivera on the New York Health Act, which is a bill that is pending in the state legislature that would provide a Medicare-like health insurance policy for all residents of the state of New York. If I started to go into the details, we'd be here for much of the rest of the evening. What I can offer is a stack of articles and the copy of the bill that I will provide to Farah, and anyone who's interested in wading through them can ask her and she can email them. And our next meeting is tomorrow night, and it will be part of the discussion tomorrow evening will concern that bill. There are two other items that we will be discussing tomorrow that I think will be of interest to a lot of people. One is a presentation by the Alzheimer's Association. We don't know what the presentation is going to be, but it likely will be both interesting and important because the Bronx has the highest rate of Alzheimer's disease and related dementias in the country. We are also, I believe, the only borough in the city that does not have an annual Alzheimer's walk, for what that's worth. So there will be a presentation that will be available on Zoom for those who want to dial in. We will also be discussing an issue concerning the Riverdale Mental Health Association, now known as Mosaic Health, which is planning to move into the former Jewish board offices on West 239th Street, Henry Hudson Parkway. And we learned about this today. Farah circulated some information, and we apparently have to pass a resolution or issue a letter of support for this proposed move, and that goes to the Department of Health, Farah. So that will be, we hope we'll have a presentation by someone from the agency, but we will be discussing that as well.
Thank you. Okay. All right. Okay, we're gonna move on to environment and sanitation. Daniel Brown.
Okay, we're slowly defrosting here. It's been a while. Our last meeting, we talked about snow stuff just amongst ourselves, and also sanitation issues. Our next meeting is on the 18th on Wednesday. We hope to get to talk about those things with sanitation. We also have a SAPO application for a mobile outreach van to hang out by Neem. I don't know what it's outreaching, but come to the meeting and find out, or what they're reaching out about. Small business reach out. Okay, thank you. But yeah, that is what is to come.
Thank you, Daniel. Anyone have any questions or comments?
I'm not sure if this is part of your responsibility, but I just wanted to find out about who's responsible for clearing certain sidewalks. Does that come under your?
Yes, and it's the property owner.
Right. So I'm thinking about between 256. There's I think it's called Netherland Gardens. Is it Netherland Gardens? There's a stretch there that hasn't been cleared at all, and I was trying to figure out who was responsible for it. It's right on Riverdale Avenue. I don't know if anybody else has noticed it. It's between the bus stop and then the other complex along the way there.
I mean, it'll be someone's property. It's someone's property.
Right. I was thinking.
And then it's always the property owners. The city does not do sidewalks.
They don't do sidewalks. Okay. So I guess that's where the complaint goes.
Unless it's like in city buildings and other stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. No.
Okay. Or Parks Department around parks, or and so Department of Sanitation will do the streets, and they're out there doing it right now. I passed people on my way here.
Right. So that would be that apartment blocks.
Probably, yeah.
Responsibility. Okay, thank you.
But have you 311'd it?
No, I'm sorry. Okay. So I wasn't sure if it was, I'm still unclear.
Equally, they can find them. They'll tell them, like, actually, this is your sidewalk, because maybe they have forgotten. But equally, at the time, they may clear it once, like while there, if it's really bad, and like even while they figure out who the property owner is, while they're there, it may get clear. So like doing a 311 is great because something may happen instead of what has happened so far, I guess. But yes, we'll talk about that because there's questions about other things like who does the overpasses over the Deegan, because the answer is nobody.
And-
Who should do them? And
if you do contact 311, if anyone does contact 311, if you can call the board office and let the office know so that they can follow up, and also we'll have records on it as well.
On graffiti on 238th Street, where the old was that Rite Aid used to be, the wall out on Broadway is really, really horrendous, and I just want to note that. I'm not sure what the future holds, but yes, 238th Street in Broadway.
Right, what used to be, it's so, I mean, it's some owner, whoever owns the building, who was going to lease it to a fine fair that never materialized. So now we're hoping for one by Key Foods, but it's the second one now in the neighborhood. So we'll have to see if one opens. But it would be that property owner. So but sanitation, you could do a 3-on-1. I'll look at it on my way back on the 18th, Wednesday, next week.
Okay, thank you. Okay, our next is education, libraries and cultural affairs. Sylvia Alexander on Zoom.
Hi, I hope that everybody has received and read our meeting minutes of January 27th. Our next meeting is on February 24th.
Thank you, Sylvia. Our next committee, Economic Development, Constance Barnes-Watson.
Good evening. On January 29th, we attended the tenants meeting at Knowles Crescent. There were about 84 attendees there, and they gathered to talk about the vacant storefronts there. Shortly after, Channel 12 did a coverage about that, as well as the Riverdale Press, and the tenants are following up on February 22nd at the Riverdale Senior Center. They will be learning more about organizing and trying to support the merchants there. Farrah already mentioned that we met with Live XYZ team to learn about geomapping to support the planning fellow. We met on February 6th at KHCC. We had a presentation by New York Free Tax Prep and the Kingsbridge Armory. I encourage you to please read our minutes. There are links to everything in there, valuable resources, and our next meeting, TBD. And as Farrah mentioned, the press release and application for the Betty Campbell Adams MBM Award will be this week.
Thank you, Constance. Any questions or comments, Constance? Okay, our next budget, Sebastian Chittilapilli.
Good evening, everyone. We were expecting our response to the FY27 priorities on January 26th. However, because this is a transition year for the mayor's office, there is an extension, and the response will be available on February 17th. So we were supposed to have a public hearing today before this board meeting, so that will be before our March board meeting. Also, we reached out to our community members for input for helping us with the FY28 budget priorities. We did receive some, so we put them into a spreadsheet and emailed them to committee chairs last week. So if you can review them and discuss and share with your committee members, that will be helpful. That's my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Sebastian. Any questions?
Yes, Rashid.
Thank you. With respect to those priorities, I know you just said you would like for us to discuss them in our committees. If the priority has nothing to do with our committee, if it has nothing to do with our particular committee, do you still want us to discuss?
Oh, that's for you to review. If there's nothing pertaining to your committee, there's nothing to discuss there. I believe we got like 7 or 8, but it's, yeah.
I'm saying that because I know can I say that I wrote something there? I know I put something on there that has nothing to do with the committee, but it has to do with the community.
Yes.
So but it has to do with someone else's committee. So should I just go to that person, or does it matter?
Yeah, but we have that anyways with us, so we're gonna review it during our budget meeting as well.
Okay, thank you.
But you should at least give it to the chair of the other committee as a courtesy and let them discuss it since it's their committee, because they may not, they may put it in a different order. So definitely send it over to the committee chair.
If it's what you sent us, it was sent to the appropriate committee.
Yeah,
So it's a list, but it has the different committees that's supposed to consider this idea.
it's broken down by the committee on the last column if you check them.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we'll move on to aging. Barbara Kale.
We met on January 8th. We met on January 8th. We reviewed the categories for the resource guide. We did not have a speaker. And I suggested committee members who might take the lead for each of those categories. For each category, we decided that we'd begin with a quick description of the type of services that are offered, and what they mean, the difference between assisted living, for example, and rehabilitation. We also found or tried to find a single point of access for each category where you could dip in and find many resources within that category or be directed to them. We discussed can't read my own handwriting. We discussed audiences, and there are two. There are what we call the young old, and they will probably use this or can on their own. They're the older old, and they will probably need someone to intervene, usually a provider. To this point, the audience has mostly been providers who've used it. We had a very interesting suggestion that we disseminated through a series of posters with a QR code. And the QR code would take people directly to the resource guide on the web. It saves printing. It also means we could disseminate it quickly. And that's pretty much it. We will be discussing budget priorities. Our next meeting is in 2 days, February 12th.
Thank you, Barbara. Questions, comments? Thank you. Special Committee on Veterans Affairs, Sergio Valverde.
Thank you. We have our meeting coming up on February 26th. Thank you. February 26th, we will be discussing Memorial Grove and our awardee and the timing of that. You're all welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Sergio. Next item, Special Committee on Racial Equity, Margaret Della.
On that person. Our next meeting will be March 5th at 7 p.m. With SCREE's priorities over the last several years to focus on increasing community board aid visibility in all corners of the district, increasing community agency and partnering with city agencies and problem solving, ensuring residents receive equitable services and improve the quality of life across the district. We asked Alina Dow, who many already know. She previously worked for the Adams administration, is now working for the newly designated Mass Engagement Division within New York City. And so we asked her to come and present on the new mayor's vision and what that division will be working on. We're hoping to hear from her, but nonetheless, we have a number of things to go over. All of the work that you all have been doing over the course of the last year, we tried to reflect that in our interim report, which we submit to the board in June. So community members will be working on that. And then, just reflecting on what's been done and setting out some agenda items for the year ahead.
Thank you, Margaret. Okay, the next committee, Special Committee on the Hudson River Greenway. Bob Bender.
Thank you. We met on January 29th. We had two speakers, somebody from the Economic Development Corporation, speaking about the greenways map that the city issued last summer, the first update of the greenways map in over 30 years. And we had some discussion about our particular greenway of interest, the Hudson River Greenway. The Economic Development Corporation will be meeting with community boards this spring. The format hasn't been discussed. I don't know that it's been worked out yet. My guess is that it's going to be something more like borough-wide than individual community boards, given the number of community boards in the city. But that remains to be seen. But so there's more to come on the subject of the greenways and the city's plan for additional greenways and making connections among the greenways. The other speaker was a representative from Metro North. Metro North is planning to build a resiliency project along the Hudson River because the river has been steadily rising and it's now a threat to the Hudson Line tracks. We've been trying to get more information about the project, and the person who represented Metro North said they're actually at the stage right now of soliciting designs. So they don't even have a final design for this project yet. They do anticipate that they'll have one over the summer. And once they do, they will come back to us for further discussion. So I'm anticipating that we will meet again in the fall, and that will be the primary purpose of the meeting, to discuss that project and how it might possibly work with the Greenway. But that's to be seen. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. You've been working on that many, many years.
And we have many years to go.
Excellent work.
Where's oh.
Does someone have their hand up? Okay, the next would be you, Cesar Tobar Acosta.
Okay. Our last meeting was back in November, so very grateful to have a meeting on Thursday the 12th at 6:30. It's going to be at the main office. And also want to highlight that the New York Yankee Community Council Youth Leadership Award is now open and will be open until the 13th, where for high school seniors who have more than 50 hours of leadership, volunteer work as a mentor, tutor, community unity developer, that they are able to be nominated to receive the Yankee Award, which will also come with a stipend and a pre-ceremony recognition on one of the games. So as a board, we're able to recognize 5 of the nominees for that award, so that will be continues to spread out.
Great, thank you. Questions, comments? Thank you, Cecil. Next committee, Traffic and Transportation, Debbie Allen.
Hi, we have one resolution. The event already happened, but just for formality, the resolution is before you, SAPO resolution for SARS 57th anniversary dinner on February 1st. Just for, I'm not going to read it, but the committee unanimously approved the SAPO application. The event happened, and I understand it was a wonderful event. So we're asking, is there any abstentions on this resolution or anybody against it? So,
Okay, is there any discussion on the resolution? Emily, you have your hand up? Okay, no discussion, so then we'll vote. Any abstention? We have one abstention, Emily. Emily's abstaining, present but ineligible to vote. What was that? Yes. The new term for present with cause, it is now, Margaret knows, present ineligible to vote. So that if you just vote abstain, that's a no. the way Emily is voting, it's not a no and it's not a yes. She's present, but she's not voting because of a reason, so she's ineligible to vote. Okay, so are there any abstentions? Any disapprovals? So it passes unanimously.
We had our last meeting, which was, I have notes, which was on January 15th. We had Con Edison was there and did a lovely presentation. And also just reminding the community that they post any signage for any work that they're doing here in our area in CB8. And also there was a lively discussion about 254th Street, and any specific questions regarding that is really through DDC if people have specific questions or concerns. We also did a review of our capital project priorities, and we're still looking for the community to give us any other feedback of what the needs are. Most of our priorities are focused on the step streets that connects different communities together. Our next meeting will be on February 19th at 7 o'clock. And our agenda items is going to be assessor ride presentation. DOT will presenting to us their milling and resurfacing schedule in our area. And also we have a dining out application, and we're going to continue our talk with MTA and finding out how that walkthrough went on in January. And that is it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, our last committee with the least resolutions, as always. Public safety, Ed Green.
Pretty good this time. We have public safety as 4 resolutions, state liquor authority 3 renewal applications, and 1 is a new application. The renewals are the Johnson Diner and Bar at 3533 Johnson, Tin Marin Bar and Lounge at 3708 Riverdale Avenue, Monomore Coffee and Wine at 234 West 238th Street, and the new application is for Giotto E Sushi, which will be at 5784 Marshallou Avenue. So the new application, the applicant did sign a 2AM closing agreement for the first year of operation, and all of the renewals, there were no significant reasons, no issues of concern from the 50th precinct about any of these businesses, and all of these resolutions were approved unanimously by the committee. So I would suggest that unless anybody has any objections, we just take a vote on all 4.
Good. Any objections? Okay, let's go right ahead. Since everyone read the resolutions and they're aware of it, you want to vote now?
Yes.
Okay, are there any abstentions? Disapprovals? All approved.
Okay, so
Sorry. Anyone on Zoom, if you disapprove or abstain, please raise your hand.
good.
Okay, we're good. Thank you.
Okay, so at our meeting on January 20th, the 50th precinct is posting more advanced statistics on their website. I included that in our minutes, but it is on their website. They're now posting traffic statistics and also certain quality of life statistics also, which I think is good. Our committee is actually trying to really get the community more engaged in reporting things via 311. And even as we've heard tonight, even if it's not a public safety issue, I've heard other committees, we want to make 311 the thing to do. So that's a project we're working on, and more will be revealed with that. Sebastian mentioned the budget earlier. I know that report's coming out on the 17th. Our meeting is gonna be on the 17th. If we could get it before the meeting, that would be awesome. But I would also encourage, I don't know, Rashida, what you have, but anybody who has anything for public safety, we rely on the committee, we rely a lot on the 50th precinct to tell us what budget items are useful to them, but we also want to hear what the community and the other members of non-committee members have to say. If they have any ideas, let us know. So with that, I'll just refer everybody else to our minutes, and thank you.
Thank you, Ed. Any questions or comments for public safety? No? Okay, so then we can move on to council members' reports. If council members present or representative, please raise your hand. For council members Sanchez, De La Rosa, and Dinowitz. Is anyone here from Sanchez's office? No? De La Rosa? And Dinowitz?
No.
Okay, so then we'll move on to the report from the mayor's office. Okay, so no one from the mayor's office this evening. And she's usually always here, but she's spread out this evening. That's Alina Dowd is usually represented from the mayor's office. So we'll go on to elected officials reports. I see Flavia. Okay, so then we will start with
Good evening, everyone. Just a couple updates from our office. We're back at events. We're having our free housing and immigration assistance clinic. We are not sharing the date via social media for safety reasons, but if you need the date or make an appointment, you can call our office. On February 27th, we are having our rent freeze homeowners tax break screening day. So this is She, Scree, and Dree. It's going to take place at Potts, February 27th, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And you can call our office to make an appointment. We are also having a Black History Month event. It's going to be R&B Soul Saturday at Tracy Towers. It's going to be February 28th from 1 to 3 p.m. The last two more events, actually. We're busy. We're doing a free pop-up tax prep and coloration with NIMIC. This is going to be March 3rd, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. So if you earn $68,000 or less without dependents, or $97,000 or less with dependents in 2025, you qualify for free tax services. And we have the last one is a free Department of Building clinic, March 5th, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. If you have any complaints with the Department of Buildings, please let us know, call our office and make an appointment. Thank you.
Thank you. That was Representative Flavia Salazar from Senator Gustavo Rivera's office. Okay, so then do we have anybody from the district attorney's office?
Yes.
Okay, so Jeffrey Pena.
Yes, thank you. Good evening. My name is Jeffrey Pena. I am a community engagement coordinator at the Bronx District Attorney's Office. Unfortunately, our Reentry Employment Resource Fair was postponed 2 weeks ago due to the snow. So the new date is Tuesday, February 24th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Justice Sonia Sotomayor Community Center on 1000 Rosedale Avenue. So we'll have workshops on resume building, interview skills, and job readiness, as well as educational opportunities, community organizations. We'll have refreshments and giveaways, as well as health and mental health resources. So I emailed the flyer to the board. If anyone's interested, please reach out. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jeffrey Pena. Anyone here from Senator Jackson's office? Assembly Member Manny De Los Santos. Assembly Member Jeffrey Dinowitz. We have.
Nice.
Hi, everyone. I just wanted to remind everyone that we have a free notary service in the office. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anybody from Assembly Member Alvarez?
Yes.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak tonight. I'm just here to share that our office is hosting two events this month. One is going to be on February the 20th. It is our Black History Month event that we are hosting in the Bronx Kingsbridge Library. All are welcome to attend and participate. We are having live performances, snacks and beverages. If you know anybody that would love to perform or show out, showcase talent, we are more than welcome to having them, and I will share these details with leadership. And then we're also having one the Sunday after the 22nd with the Dominican Consulate, where we will be discussing one of our bills and engaging with different services and service providers in their district. And we're happy to announce that we're back in session and that I will be sharing contact information with leadership because a few of our roles in the office have changed. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We're going to go on to, I have a question here, Cesar.
She's still on?
Yes, she's still there.
Okay, just for clarification, we're talking about the Bronx Library Center and not the Kingsbridge Library, correct?
The Kingsbridge Library. I will be more than happy to share more details in our flyers with leadership so that it can be distributed.
Yes, if you could send it to the board office.
I will. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, we'll go on to Congressman Richie Torres' office. You have Joe McManus.
Good evening, everybody. I just have two quick things. One, if anybody has any federal issues or if somebody from the community would like to get the Congressman's newsletter, please email me at joseph.mcmanus@mail.house.gov. Thank you.
Thank you. Congressman Espaillat's office. Public Advocate Joanne Williams. And the Controller's office. You people don't, after 3 years, you don't know I'm organized. I go through a list. He's gonna even get extra time, okay? Just wait. Okay, so from the list that I have, the only one who is now here is Dinowitz. Okay. Okay, so you have a representative here from Assemblymember Dinowitz's office?
She already spoke.
That's why I have a list and I go in order. So now we're gonna go back to Councilmember Dinowitz, and you will get 1 extra minute because it's a new year for me. Okay, Eric, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everyone. I just wanted to get on and say hello to the board. It's a brand new year in the city council. And I think last time, I don't think it was announced last time, but we have new committee assignments. And so I am now the chair of the Education Committee in the New York City Council, which is, it's a very big committee. It deals with everything from early child care to from K to 12. And we just had our first hearing today that I chaired about mayoral control. The governor proposed extending mayoral control as is for 4 years and including it in the budget. And we in the city council said we want to make sure our voice is heard as the state is negotiating the fate of New York City. It was a very productive hearing, and you'll certainly hear more about what we're doing on that committee. But as you know, this is very exciting for me, not just because of my passion for education, but because of my career before I was in the council as a New York City public school teacher. I was also named, or voted rather, co-chair of the Anti-Semitism Task Force. As many of you know, anti-Semitic hate crimes make up more than half of hate crimes in New York, despite being about 10% of the Jews being about 10% of the population. So I stood with and spoke at the press conference where Speaker Menon and the council laid out the 5-point plan to combat anti-Semitism. Some of those bills deal with making sure there are safe perimeters around houses of worship and educational institutions. We've seen protests get very vitriolic and in some cases violent around houses of worship and schools. And I and other members of the council believe people should be able to go to their house of worship or go to school without fear of harassment. So our bills make sure the police have guidelines to set up perimeters around houses of worship and educational institutions. I'm the prime sponsor on one of those pieces, and I'm the prime co-sponsor on another piece of legislation that would provide houses of worship free consultation with NYPD for security, making sure they know what their rights are and how they can keep safe. And we're putting more funding into education and anti-hate education. Two local things. I know you've discussed it and you've heard. Last time I came here, I gave a small update about the supermarket at the Skyview Shopping Center, and of course, we are officially getting a supermarket there. And the one thing I want to say about that is when your elected officials work together, that's me, Assemblyman Dinowitz, Borough President Gibson, and Congressmember Torres, and members of the Main Street Alliance, and Johanna Edmondson, and we get things done. And this was a big concern for the community. It is going to be a few months until it happens, but this is just like a huge thing for the community. Something I know that was causing a lot of stress for a lot of people. And the other thing in that neighborhood, you may recall a few months back, last year, maybe over the summer, we had heard City Bike was coming to North Riverdale or parts of Riverdale. And we were concerned about the amount of parking taking up. So we organized a walkthrough. We did it with members of CBA, the Department of Transportation, and Assemblyman Dinowitz's office. And we made, I think, logical recommendations for alternate locations that are on the sidewalk so that we can have City Bike and we can also keep our parking. And the DOT actually did make amendments to their original plans. And they are going to have some of those sites on the sidewalk. So we're getting City Bike and we are reducing the amount of parking that would have been eliminated. So that's it. Thank you so much for all of your for listening, for all of your time, and of course for all of your support.
Thank you, Councilmember. Sergio Valverde has a question for you.
Thank you very much, Councilmember, for working with the City Bike issue. We can't have both. We can't have City Bikes and not lose 10 parking spots. So we really appreciate that. There was an incident where KKK was scrawled on the on a business stanchion at 238th Street. It doesn't seem to have been well followed up by the 50th precinct. I was wondering, in your new position, if you could, if you could look into that as well. I believe the signature was KKK, but they don't have love for a lot of groups, so I would request that.
Absolutely. Let's talk further about some of the details about that, but we can certainly follow up on that. That's horrendous.
Thank you. We'll have the office send you the email correspondence that went back and forth with the precinct in the office.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, so then we will move on to old business. Any board members have any old business? Any new business? Okay, so then we go on to announcements. The Irving Latimer Community Service Award Committee will be having their meeting following this meeting. Everyone is invited to attend. And our next regular board meeting will be Tuesday, March 10th, 7 p.m. And thank you all for attending. Anyone want to make a motion to adjourn? Deb, your hand went up quick. 7, Bob. Okay. No objections. Good night, everyone. Get home safely.